Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. Today we're going to continue the switch build for the electromagnetic chuck. Now, I'm going to go over some stuff here before we get started. Number one, this switch to me is it just feels like that it's not going to be a practical use for me, simply because I have went through and imagined myself using this chuck and how I'm going to be using it and the way, the way I'm going to be using it. And it's kind of big and bulky. Number one, if I'm sitting here, let's say I've got this on the floor, and I'm sitting here and I'm pushing down on it, I have to be pushing down on that while I'm concentrating on grinding. So I would basically have to keep all my weight on it, and I don't think that that's going to be a wise idea. So the other thing would be for me to be having it behind me with my heel on it, holding down on it while I'm grinding. Well, if I come off of that while I'm grinding, my stuff's going to hit the floor, especially if I have my especially if I have my vise angled so that I can get a straight shot on whatever it is I'm grinding on. So I don't want that thing to come off of there, slide down and hit my foot or whatever. So I'm just not seeing this switch as a practical use for what I want to use it for. So I'm going to continue to build this just to show how to make a manual, basically it's a manual solenoid. We'll just continue this and see how good I can make a manual solenoid, foot operated solenoid. And I'm going to be looking for a heavier switch. I'd rather have a toggle switch. Now I don't know if a house switch would work. I'm going to have to investigate that and see what the there's a lot of stuff about this that I'm a little clueless about. I'm learning as I go, so you guys are going to have to bear with me on that. There's a lot of questions in my mind about this chuck, magnetic chuck. Number one, how long can I use it before the battery explodes? You know, because basically all you're doing is shorting the battery, and if you sit there and hold something to it long enough, something's going to give. So I'm a little leery about that, for the fact that I don't know how long I could keep that chuck running where it doesn't put a lot of stress on that battery. I don't know if it'll just drain it and be done, or if it can cause some serious explosion happenings. I don't know if I can run AC on this also. Whether that would be a more feasible idea, I don't know. It would certainly be great if I could use AC power, because then I could just plug it in the wall in any location. I ain't got to make preparations to have a battery next to whatever I'm using. That would be awesome. That's another question in my mind. So there's a lot of things about this magnetic chuck that eludes me, so to speak. So So just bear with me, guys. I'm learning as I go. and I'm just bringing you guys along for the ride. And if any of you got any input, feel free to give me your 2 cents. So without any more rambling, let me think. I think I need to actually update you guys on some other stuff. I've had some questions come up in my email. Brett asked me about the title for the shop. Yes, I did get tags for the shop. I did get registration through Vermont, and I'm still waiting on the registration to come in the mail. So I do have the tag and the temporary registration. I just don't have the actual registration yet. They send that two separate times. On another note, I do have the box that I'm supposed to be fixing for Carl in Oregon. He has shipped it, and we're waiting on that to come. It should be here Monday, between Monday or Wednesday. Yes, it's coming UPS. The bearing, that's an interesting story, if you guys want to hear it. The bearing came. UPS showed me the GPS location of the driver at the time he scanned for delivery, the bearing, and it shows him sitting right here on this property. So the only other explanation I can come up with, I had ordered a set of seals for that transfer case also. They sent the wrong thing. So that very day I had the gasket kit that I showed you guys in one of the last videos. I was sending that back that very day. And what happened was UPS came at 11:45, USPS came after 1 and picked up the package that was sitting on the porch where they normally would have set the package when they were delivering it. I'll bet you any amount of money, you mark my word, if I was a fly on the wall, I'll bet you any amount of money that this is how it played out. UPS delivered the package, put it next to the one that was sitting there to go out. When USPS came to pick up the package that was scheduled for pickup, which they were supposed to get the day before and didn't do it, and if they would have done their job right the first time, we wouldn't have this problem. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I'll bet you he picked up the package that was delivered a couple hours earlier and took it with him. Hence, no bearing, lost package, no one knows where it went. So I'm telling you, I could come up with some frickin' situations with UPS, USPS, FedEx. I haven't had a whole lot of dealings with FedEx, but I'll bet you they'd be the same. Bison does not have any good luck when it comes to eBay and shippers. So anyway, I thought that was interesting to tell. So we'll get back down here on this switch and we'll finish it up and see how it turns out. If nothing else, I showed you how to make a manual foot solenoid. A footiloid. So now we've got the contactors in, we've got the studs in, we've got the contactor in, and it's spring loaded. And you don't really want to put a lot of force on that because this here is just thin metal, so that would bend. So if I put my weight on that, that would probably bend that in both directions. So we've got that. So now the next thing we need to do is I want to try to take care of the spring that keeps it up that far and the stop to keep it from going any further than that. I want to try to do both at the same exact time. So the only thing that I can come up with, I really don't want to put nothing here because this is where my foot's going to go, or whoever's foot's going to go. I may have a giveaway on this. And we may have a giveaway on both of these. I don't know yet. So the only other alternative would be to put something here. And like I said in the last video, we can put a stud here that goes up through there that keeps that from going any further than that right there, and have a, I said wing nut, but I meant to say acorn nut because we want it to kind of look good. And we'll just put a stud in here with a spring in between there and a wing nut on here, and then when that goes down, this will go lower than the wing nut, and we'll have the stud threaded in here, and may even do some Loctite so to keep it from spinning. That's the only other thing I can think of, and then we'll just use these springs right here. Actually, it has to be a longer spring, probably. I sure wish I had two of these, because this in here is a great spring for that, and it's not long enough to we need a longer spring. We need two of these. Daggone it. I always have one less than what I actually need. So if I need 3 of them, I'm going to have 2 of them. If I need 2 of them, I'm going to have 1 of them. If I need 50 of them, I'm going to have 49 and a half. So we'll get all of our parts together and we'll show you the next step. Alright guys, here's what we got so far. What we decided to do was drill a hole, a 3/4 inch hole in the plastic so far on both of them, and put the spring in there, just like that. And it works great. Now we just got to find out. You see how it self-centers itself? So, a little bit of adjustments here. Alright, so now that we've got everything the way we want it, now it's a matter of cosmetics. So, we'll take that apart and start filing that. Alright guys, we got all the pieces ready to go together, and I'll show you the inside of the bottom of that. You got your contactor, stainless steel hinge, hole for the spring. Spring will rest in there. This here is to keep it from going up further than it should, and to adjust, the second nut is to adjust so that you don't go down too far. So we got that, our spring, hinge hardware. Then we've got our stud plate with a hole for the other end of the spring, the hinge holes, and the holes for the guides. Then we've got, I routed that out to fit this. The other half is routed out in this. So this is the bottom plate. So now we get to put it together. Alright, we should have power as soon as we hit this switch. There it is. There we go. Alright, the only thing left to do is put the cord in here, sealed up, because now the cord's a little smaller, and the reason I changed the size of the cord is because I didn't have enough room to put the bigger cord in here like I did this one. So we've got our switch, and it works pretty daggone good if you ask me. So there we have it. Off. Nothing. Something. My God. Alright guys, I've got the resin poured in it, and I hope I got it mixed right. It said, it looks like it's starting to harden, so I guess I got it mixed right. But dumbass me forgot to seal that with silicone on the inside or the outside, either one. Probably should have done it on the outside, but I forgot to seal that, and by the time I had already started pouring, it was already too late. So now I have to band-aid it and hope to God I can get that off of there after it's done. But it really didn't leave much left of the core sticking out. So we might just be able to mill that off of there. The only thing I'm worried about milling them off is these are individual plates on here, and the teeth might grab and try to bend those, and that's why I would like to try to mill as little as possible. And but there it is. I finally got it to stop leaking, and it's probably sealing itself or molding itself to my vise. I'll probably have a hard time getting it off of the vise, but I got it up as far as I could get without it pouring over on this end. I tried to get it as level as I could get it, and I'm pretty close to being level, but for some reason the shop is not level this way, but it's level that way. We will do a demonstration of the chuck in the next video. I'm going to consider this a done deal. We've already seen it working, and the only other thing left is to mill off the top. So we might probably what I'll do is the next video I do, before I start whatever the video is going to be, I'll show the chuck in its complete form and done, and be done with it. But I'm going to call this a done video, and I'll just do a demo on the next video. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and don't be making fun of my band-aid that I forgot to seal that. I can't believe I forgot to seal that thing, man. Now if I'd have had I was thinking I had the bigger cord in there is what it was, because the bigger cord fit in there pretty tight and there was no way it would have got out of there. But because I used a smaller cord, it was smaller than the hole, and I probably should have looked around to see if I found a rubber gasket to put around it, but I didn't. But anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and you guys have a good one. Later. So I'm trying to think of another way to cover all this, the contacts and stuff, to protect them from the elements. I had thought about taking a piece of foam something like this right here that does squish and comes back. You know, that might be the ticket right there. Just make a piece that goes in the whole thing. Actually, we can go, because that should squeeze pretty good all the way up to here. We can cut all these parts out of this, stamp it, and put this foam in there. That's actually a pretty decent idea to entertain. And that would keep any debris from going in there. Alright, so next thing we need to do is take all this back apart except for the hinge, the plate, and these two pieces here. Take all the parts out of it to get these to sandwich together, and then put it in the vise and start filing these edges to get them to the same thickness or same width as the plate.